English fans been this evening? Are you drinking the blood? Are you tricking or treating? What is your costume this evening? Who might you be? Is it on the inside or the outside? Are you revealing the true nature of what's within you? Radiating out the essence of being. Are you present in the moment? Are you doing the monster mash? Are you keeping it raw and staying rad? How goes it this evening, all of y'all? So I'm feeling rather playful, if you couldn't tell. Put a little makeup on this evening. I don't wear it very often, but it is fun to get dressed up, isn't it? Halloween. Yes, it's been commercialized, but it is an opportunity for us to all, maybe step into another flavor that really is a part of us. Don't you think? If you chose the costume, there must be the reason behind it, right? So, I'd be curious who all out there is getting dressed up or has gotten dressed up this evening. And share, what is your costume? Come on, Sandy, let's reveal it. How you doing? Isn't it fun? And it's really fun to go and see how creative people become, because it gives people an opportunity to share a part of themselves. You know, oh, I'm not very artsy, but look at the makeup, look at the costumes, look at how creative people become. Despite, you know, we can look at the consumerism aspect or the materialistic aspect, or the fact that, you know, it's become all about getting candy and whatever the excuse is. But to be truly real, it's beautiful to see people express themselves, no matter how it comes out. And so this is a fun holiday, holy day, All Hallows Eve, right? Tomorrow will be All Saints Day, right? And they say it's supposed to be like this thin veil between the current living, breathing, and those who have passed on to the other side, right? So, what part of you are you sharing? Good evening, Kelly. How are you? Hey, Carl and Rose. Hi, Lubna. How are you all doing? Hi, Andrea. Hey, Jules. I love you, Sandy. Hi, Charity. Hey, Bev. Cassandra. Sunshine. I love that name. Stacy and Rebecca. Jason. How is everybody doing tonight? Hey, Lori. How are you? Hey, Therese. So, I don't know about y'all, but down here in Florida, the weather had taken a serious nosedive into the cold. And for me, I'm a Floridian now. I no longer live in the Northeast where I have frozen my little booty behind, you know. Hey, Heather. I lived in northern Maine, and Heather can attest to this. It gets pretty darn cold up there. And so for me, I choose to stay living in a warmer climate, right? And, you know, we can choose our vices or our sufferings, right? So, too much cold. So I'm actually bringing out my, you know, bringing out the past me a little bit, because this is some old, you know, you go through your closet and just want to get dressed up and put on some old earrings and maybe throw your hair up and put on the leopard pants, right? You know? Pull up those pants. Yeah. Thank you, Terry. I love you. I appreciate you too. And hi, Jessica. Hi, Uchi. How are you, honey? Is anybody eating any particular candy this evening? I've already gotten into my chocolate brownie, and when I say this, it's this delicious, delectable, it's actually a pomegranate chipotle that I make, and I hadn't made it in a while, so I made it this past week, and yummy in my tummy, and it just so like melts in your mouth. Thank you, Sandy. I appreciate you. Thank you for the kind comments, everyone. Hi, Judith. Happy Halloween. I was feeling kind of ghoulish doing the Monster Mash. And you know, Thriller's probably the most overheard song, so I figured I had to change it up a little, right? Because of course it's easy to remember. Thriller. Do, do, do. So, today here, it was so gorgeous. I went for a beautiful walk this afternoon, this little bit closer to the evening, and just really soaked up the sun and enjoyed just that idea that, you know, I'm so blessed to be able to live near the sea, and I'm appreciative about that. What is chipotle? Chipotle, let me tell you. It's, and there's two different ways that they do it. Sometimes it's sweet and sometimes it's smoked. But here's an example. Like this is chipotle. It's a chili pepper. And I like spicy. Always like a little spice. It heats you up, right? So if you're in a cold climate and you have trouble with the cold, spice is nice to keep you warm, and it's good for dilating the blood vessels. It's also a higher vitamin C content the higher the heat index. So the spicier it is, the higher the vitamin C. And it's especially good for you if you're somebody who has immune issues, to bring you in. Exactly, Judith. It's a type of chili. So, and I take the pomegranates and I mix it in with all, like you can use the juice and you can kind of like strain out the arils, you know, the little seeds. But on the very top, when I made my chocolate sauce, which is kind of got a little crunch to it, I like to add in the arils, the seeds of the pomegranates. I have not been handing out any candy. I have my light off only because I don't have anything. And you know, when I was a child, they used to warn us to not eat candies from strangers, but also not to take in any type of fruits or vegetables because of the whole fear of razor blades. And so the razor blades was like a big concern because people would say, you know, if you bite into an apple, you might get a razor blade. And so that was a scare thing, and we avoided eating that kind of food. So I just thought it would be easier to not try to put anybody at risk or jeopardy, because of course I would be handing out organic fruits or vegetables. So what else would you do, right? And so I'd hate to give out something that's going to go in the trash, right? Hey Jen, how are you, honey? So I'm super, super stoked. Tomorrow is going to be another beautiful day, and it's supposed to get warmer. And I'll tell you what, by the time they fix my heating and air conditioning system so that my heating works, I'll be set up for the next cold front that comes through, right? What was that? Oh, I don't know what you're talking about. So, yeah, it's all good. It's all perfect, right? Right? So I was reflecting today. I had to go to my chiropractor. I had an amazing appointment. I love my chiropractor. I have the best chiropractor ever in my area. And I'm trying to think. He said, we just had a really good wrap, and I had a really good session, and I got a little bit of acupuncture, so I had a nice little deep relaxation and also meditation at the same time, which I really appreciate, on top of all the other stuff that I do anyway. And I was reflecting upon some old belief systems and old fears that we're kind of conjuring up. And I don't know if y'all go through this. And it's interesting being that it is Halloween, but a lot of times we put on these masks. We put on these costumes to protect ourselves from what really pains us within. Like if you were watching my journal Hook'em last night, where I was discussing how we need to release to receive, right? You have to learn that in order to receive something, you have to let go of what's been holding you back from receiving, but also to open up that divine flow, that energetic, reciprocity. If you let go of something, something has to come in to replace it, right? And often what we hold on to is the block to what we really do desire. So today, I was actually having to sit with my thoughts and going, so why am I so caught up in those particular thoughts? How is that serving me? And why is it so profound? Why is it so strong in my mind that it just keeps ring, 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 going down that monkey train? That ego, that mind gets so caught up on the same thing. And sometimes it's just out of habit. So it'll start replaying the same story, the same track, the same music. I've heard this before. And you're like, really? Are we going there again? And why? Why? So you have to sit with it and ask, how important is this? Why is this still sticking? Why hasn't it gone? So it's release it to receive something new. And meditation really is clearing out the garbage of the mind. And most of us who are unfamiliar with meditation, and for years it took me a while to be able to sit with myself by myself in meditation, because I was all about, this constant keep my mind busy. I have all these things to do. I was very high impact aerobics. I was step. I was kickboxing. I was a marathon runner. I did all this. I taught it. I was hardcore. I would spend a lot of time at the gym if I wasn't out running. And that was my way to keep my mind constantly going, was to keep my body in motion. And I know there's many of you out there that can relate to this, because I know I'm not the only one. You get caught up in I have to do this to keep my mind from doing that. Or sometimes while you're in those motions, you're formulating and working through the dialogue that's going through the brain. But meditation, the reason it's difficult for most people is because they don't want to hear what the mind is doing. They don't want to hear the chatter. They want to cover it up with something else. They want to watch TV and put something else in its place, when in reality all it does is suppress it. And the more we suppress what's going on up in there, it becomes more layers we have to filter through in order to release and to move on, right? So, meditation is single-minded focus, and you could be doing almost anything. And see, the reason we can't relax most of the times to meditate is because it's this fear of being alone with ourselves. And quite often, I know from my own personal experience, sitting with myself was the most difficult thing to do. I would rather socialize, because did I like myself enough to be alone with myself? That was a big question. And it takes that contemplation and that self-reflection to go, ooh, maybe I don't like myself enough. I'm afraid others will like me just as much. And then at the same time, sitting with yourself means you have to actually sit with all of your past, your pains, your traumas, and the good and the bad, whatever you label it. That is all of who you are, and that's what it takes time to cultivate, that self-love, to nurture yourself and say, you know what, I love all of me. Even the flaws that I am afraid that others might see, right? So it took me a long time to sit with myself, and gosh, I obviously didn't like myself enough if I couldn't sit in silence and listen, or to witness what thoughts were coming in. And so I encourage you, no matter how hard you think it is, sit with it, breathe. I'm always going to say, come back to the breath. Do this with a corset on. This is really impressive, by the way. Deep belly breathing down into the pelvic floor, expanding up through the belly, up through the diaphragm, up through the chest, expanding. And then exhaling and contracting. The chest lowers, the diaphragm flattens, and the belly pulls in at the navel point, expelling the last of the stagnant breath. Doing that 3 to 5 times. Focusing and listening to the sound of your own breath. Because the sound of your own breath will calm the wandering mind if you focus on it, right? So it's notice if you're able to get deep breaths, or if you have a shallow breathing or restricted breathing. And if you have trouble breathing, tilt your head up, open the throat, open the passageway, and breathe through the mouth. Give yourself permission to be breathed in, the life force, the breath that sustains, maintains, and nourishes you from the inside out. You don't only breathe in air, prana, breath, but you are breathed into. You were given the breath of life out of love. It didn't just happen by chance. Everything in its divine unfolding, in its divine time, was meant for you to come to this life to enjoy, live in joy, to be present in this moment fully, to embrace every aspect of who you are, and to love without judgment, to release the idea that this is good or that is bad, that this moment is a precious gift, and that when you live in the moment, moment to moment becomes momentum, right? So the true precious gift is embracing all of who you are, all of where you've been, all that you've experienced. I love you, Lucy. Because that is why you are here, right now. You are a present, you are a gift. Why not be present in your own essence? And to bless others just by accepting and honoring where you're at in the moment, and harnessing the power of the breath, the life force. Because when you master the breath, you master the mind, and then you master your life. Life is not as difficult as we have made it, but we have conditioned ourselves through the past, through our ancestors, who look upon us and think, please enjoy the life that you have, because maybe I didn't get to the way I wished for myself. So in essence, you get to make up for everyone in your generations before, and even set the bar for those in the future. When you embrace you, you be you, right? You be you, I'll be me, we'll be we together. When you do that, you yourself are inspiring through inspired living. Inspire others through just being in your own presence, in your own essence. Because there's nothing more beautiful than a person who is in their own joy. Not trying to be what others want them to be, but truly embracing where they are in the moment. And when other people see that, they want some of that, right? You've heard that before. And the irony is, and I know for myself growing up, and I had this reflection with my chiropractor last week. I said, it's an interesting dynamic. When I was younger, I used to feel like people always showed up and wanted what I had. And the same with my family. We'd go to shop and we'd get to the checkout line and it seemed like there was nobody there. Like we had the free-for-all straight directly to the register, to the person waiting on us. And then for a second, all of a sudden we felt there's people breathing down our necks. And it was almost like people followed us. Like when when you go shopping and there's that pile of clothes that's on sale and you're reaching for something and someone else is reaching for everything you've got in your hands, and it's a crazy thing. it's an interesting dynamic, but back then we had victim mentalities. I had a victim mentality. So it was almost like people were always doing things to me or trying to take things from me. But in essence, what I learned was that it was me drawing that to me. That people wanted what I had because I feared losing it. Because I feared losing my job, I lost my job, right? It's an interesting thing. The more you focus on something, that is what you're going to draw to you. You create your life because where your attention goes, energy flows. And the more you want to say you want something, you've probably got something over in the behind the scenes going, but I don't feel worthy, and there's always, a reason why that won't happen. We create our own resistance. But with persistence, with dedication, with devotion to bettering yourself, to embracing everything about you and where you're at in the moment, and honoring the fact that your inner child, it just wants you to recognize it and accept it and just remind it that I see you, I hear you, I feel you. Everything is going to be okay, and I love you now and forever. Not going to let anything bad happen to you. And you're the only one who can assure your inner child of this, because he lives within you. And what you need is within you, not without you, right? We don't want to go without. We always want to go within. Because when we're grasping at the seams for something else external to ourselves, we're always going to go without. When we reach deep down within and pull it out, boy, that stuff's intangible, and you can't take that away from a person, right? But you can give it away when you go without. And we need to recognize and discern, am I giving away my power by going without, reaching outside of myself? Or am I really reaching within and really owning my true nature and who I am? Because I'm telling you, the power is within you, and you've had it all along, Dorothy. So click those heels, click those heels. There's no place like home. There's no place like home. Come on, baby. I want to see ruby slippers on there. Put the emojis, the little ruby slippers, if anybody, those little shoes, if you do shoes, it'll go the little red shoes. I want to see some of those, if anybody would do that for me. That would be so cool. Please. Hashtag, what do you think? Embrace your essence. Hashtag embrace your essence. Because that's really what I'm trying to promote as far as inspiring through inspired living, right? The ultimate joy in life is when you embrace your essence. Hashtag embrace your essence. Nobody can take that from you. You have to cultivate it. It takes constant dedication and devotion. It takes nurturing and loving yourself in every moment. Thank you, Diana. I love you. Thank you, Terry. She gave me the shoes. Yes! I almost put on my red shoes tonight, but then I wouldn't have been able to do my love spin boom, baby. And I would have probably tripped over my floor. But ultimately, this is the beauty in life. And I really encourage each and every one of you to start journaling if you're not already. Reach out to me if you're interested in a journaling group. Life is too short. We're meant to be in the moment, to be present, and just have everything that's within and releasing to receive, right? Because then you create the momentum. When you're present in the moment, you create this momentum that brings you in. It brings you in this divine, cosmic ease and grace, this divine dance that we're all participating in, right? And I'll tango tonight. That's what I'm feeling. I do the monster mash, the monster mash. I can salsa the dance, the monster mash. It was a great romance, the monster mash. Come on, dance with me. Oh, ah, ah, oh, oh, ah, oh. Have fun tonight, all. You don't have to go out trick-or-treating. Just treat yourself. There's no trickery necessary when you just love on you. I love you all. Oh, buonasera. Vuoi che io parlo un po' di italiano? Oh, certo. Per stasera noi siamo dentro da casa. Non voglio essere fuori. Non voglio uscire. Forse rimanere e faccio un bagno. Fai un bagno di sapone, right? Make yourself a bubble bath, right? Just soak it all in, baby. Enjoy. Embrace. You be you. And treat yourself well tonight, okay? I love you all from the bottom of my heart. Keep it raw. Stay rad. What? Boom.